I'm going to do one more post before I go to bed. So I just read the Secret Book of John and got to the part where I'm going to say it wrong, so bear with me. Yaldabeth impregnated Eve, and that's how she ended up having Cain and Abel. And I'm not feeling pretty good about that. That makes me feel real icky. So the only true children that Adam and Eve would have had together would have been Seth, and if anybody came after them. So you mean to tell me that Cain and Abel were conceived under grape? And then you go into biblical, and it talks about Cain and Abel and how Cain unalived Abel. And then the Canaanites are what come from Cain. So the Canaanites come from Yaldabeth, and they say there's a lineage. I'm gonna have to do the whiteboard. This is gonna be a uncomfy conversation to have, but I think it needs to be done. But Cain, who was the bad guy, who offed his brother, was conceived by Yaldabeth, the demiurge. So if my theory is correct with God stepping down and letting Satan rule, with our history from that book being what would be considered the modern version of it, since it's a lie, like it's been Uno reverse carded, it's going to be Cain is Satan, the true Satan, not the God Satan, but the true Satan, as child. I don't feel comfy with this. I know with enlightening and with learning about all of the steps that's going to take to get to the truth, at least as much as we can find out before, possible utopia with a new earth and I get my hands on that Alexandria's library. You guys, that means the Canaanites were conceived by Yaldabeth, which is the false god. Which, what does that mean? I also read a part in the Gnostic Bible with the Secret Book of John going into how Eve had, like, it almost sounded like there was a child in Eve when Yaldabeth took the life or breath from Eve. That was, so was Eve pregnant prior to Yaldabeth's grape? That is something I was going to look into tonight, but I wanted to get on here because I'm not going to be able to sleep unless I talk about this and get this off my chest, and my husband is so tired of hearing me talk, and he wants to sleep because he works as a mechanic, farm mechanic, so this time of year he's insanely busy, and I'm just sitting here. However, Eve's first set of children were Yaldabeth's children. I love how you told me to read it without like a trigger warning. Oh man, I don't know how to feel about this one.